This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Campaign of France. But before that, this video is brought to you by Galcomp Gamer and Chris Miller. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Campaign of France map can be found with the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you some of the description. There's a place called the French countryside, a place where the grass is green and long, where the tall, mature trees blend into the landscape, where the horses neigh as you pass. The crops are ready for harvest, and there's a lot of work to be done. Welcome to Chambly-sur-Meuse. With 52 fields, arable or meadows, and 4 forestry plots available for purchase, you can choose between cereal crops, livestock, equestrian, or forestry. In this way, you can contribute to the economy and development of the region. The farm's small-scale dairy production will also provide you with additional income. If you choose to produce produce, the best farm in the region, you can offer some of it for direct sale at vending machines at the farm and in the village. If you develop a tree farming activity, you can sell beautiful apples to the bakery, which will be able to produce wonderful apple fritters. There's also enough money for you to do projects in your spare time, and you can go hunting for items to collect. Let's go ahead and load on into the map. We are going to use the mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. They are additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. And in addition to that, this map does have one required mod. That is the modern pigs barn. I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that the farm is built out exactly how you're going to see it here in new farmer mode. The only exception is you do not own any starting machinery, nor do you own any land. We, of course, are in new farmer mode, so let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. Now, this is a small map that is also able to be played as a large map. That is because the actual predefined map is fairly small, maybe less than 25% of a standard size map. But if we take a look at our lands area, you'll see that when we zoom out, we have the entirety of a normal map basically available for us in kind of a wilderness area. Have a build your own farm, build your own fields type environment around the smaller predefined kind of fields in other areas. Now, if we take a look here, we do start out by owning farmland ID 1. That is the main starting farm. That can be bought for $318,489 in any alternate play mode. We also own field 52, as well as area 89. And then we have the unbuyable area, which is the river cutting through the town, as well as lots of these various sell points. There is a biogas plant at farmland ID 79 that can be bought for $21,567. In addition to the main starting farm, there is a pig area at farmland ID 62 that can be bought for $89,180. There's also a cow area at farmland ID 89, which is one that we own at the start. And then we also have a horse and apple area over here at farmland ID 25 that can be bought for $218,563. This map does include all the standard crop types available to us in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we do have alfalfa as an added crop. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. The farmland lease screen shows all of the buyable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, and if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included. Then lastly, how much is that given farmland going to cost us? So as you can see, the area within the main defined part of the map, all the fields or farmlands are very, very small. But then we move out to the exterior areas, and we're going to get into larger and larger areas. And still, these are still fairly economical. Look here, we have 76. That is 36 hectares in size. It is $704,000. 73 is 17 hectares in size, but it's $1.4 million. I suspect this is going to be a forested area. Let's go ahead and take a look at our field calculator screen. The field calculator screen is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. Now, given how the fields and farmlands are laid out on this map, I would suspect that the field sizes are going to line up fairly close with respect to the farmland ID sizes, at least for the areas that do have predefined fields. Take a look at our crop counter. We do have the standard base game crop counter available to us in FS22. In addition, we do have a custom entry for alfalfa that is pretty much going to mirror grass. Taking a look at our prices screen, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the base game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22 on the map. In addition, we do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, as well as our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we continue down through the base game production items, we once again do indeed have the ability to sell all of the base game production items as well. But that is not where it ends, because this map has lots of custom production items. We have alfalfa. We have alfalfa hay. And then we do not have the ability to sell any of the platinum expansion items. So if you want to do forestry and produce or sell any of the platinum expansion items, you would need to put down your own sell point. We do have a sell point for separated manure if you are playing with pumps and hoses. And then as far as custom items, we have red lettuce. We have melon, pallets, fries, apple juice. Then we have our apple fritters. We have apples themselves. We have a wooden climbing frame tower. So kind of a jungle gym. And we have yogurt with sugar, fruit yogurt, and those are our added products. Taking a look at our vehicle overview, we do have a small list of starting equipment in New Farmer mode. All of it is owned. None of it is leased, and it all has no operating hours on it. We do have a cow pasture. We have a cow feeding robot, and then a sheep barn that are pre-owned in New Farmer mode. We do have contracts available. And as far as production chains, we own at the start the dairy, which is going to produce butter, cheese, and chocolate, as well as yogurt with sugar, and then various forms of fruit yogurt, apple, melon, and strawberry. And then we have our kind of juice and oil press that is going to be able to take grapes and make into raisins, as well as grape juice. We're going to take our apples and make into apple juice. Then we have our sunflower, canola, and olive oils. This map does list 13 collectibles, and I will say that I did go around and look for a couple of those. I was not successful in figuring out where those are. So those are extremely well hidden or possibly misconfigured, because I had all sorts of cheating techniques enabled, you know, like the ones that let you see through walls and the ones that pull up triggers, and I couldn't find the collectibles. So the game lists 13. The description kind of hints that there are collectibles out there, but they didn't seem to show up when I was looking for them. Now let's go ahead and take a look here at our starting fleet. We start out with the Steyr 8150 small tractor, then move up to the John Deere 4755 medium tractor. Then we have the Dutz-Far Topliner 4090H harvester that is paired up to 4090H grain header, then our 4090H header trailer. We have the Schaefer 2630 front loader. We have the Mahindra Retriever. We also have the Klaus Karat 140 TD trailer. We have the Pottinger Servo 25 plow, as well as the Rabe EG39 cultivator. We have the Nordstein HK25 NS 3030 seeder in Power Harrow combination. We have the Amazon ZATS 3200 fertilizer spreader, as well as the GMT 4411 side mower. And then for our front loader, we have a set of pallet forks. If we take a look at our mods and DLCs, we will see that this map does include some custom pallets that we can buy down at the shop. We can buy pallets in individual quantities all the way up to 10. As far as our starting farm, we have our farmhouse over here on our left. This is an enterable farmhouse. I love it when we have farmhouses we can go into. We have our wardrobe right here. It's got a little tricky little trigger. And then we have our sleep trigger over here at the side door. And then just attached to the house, we have our kind of our dairy area. Again, we're going to be able to make butter from milk, cheese from milk, and chocolate from milk and sugar. We're then going to take milk and sugar and make yogurt with sugar. We're going to add milk, sugar, and apples to get our fruit yogurt, milk, sugar, and melons, as well as milk, sugar, and strawberries. So their interactive icon. Here where our front loader is located, this is going to be our pallet spawn point. And then we have our dump point located right here. Then we have the vending machine sell point for our various products. That's going to be located right there, kind of here on the main farm. For our vehicle storage and implement storage. Now there's an interesting little trick here with black sheep modding fences. Typically they're going to allow you to remove the fence, but you do have to locate kind of the control box that is going to control the fences being on and off. So the control box is going to look just like this. We're going to walk up to it. We're going to left click to remove the fence. The control box stays, but now the fence is gone. If we like the fences, we can put it back. Left click, and there's the fence. We do have an operable gate here, so we don't have to get rid of the fence if we don't want to. So as you go around the map, you will find those fence configurators, for lack of a better word. You'll be able to make use of those. Everything on the main starting farm can be sold. So with respect to can the farms be customizable, the farms can indeed be completely customizable. We have a silo out and a fill pipe here as well. Over here we have bale storage. We have 150 cows in the area here at the main starting farm. So we have our manure heap. We have our food trough as well as our straw trough, but you make note of these silver markers on the road here, or on the, it's not the road, but in the building. That is because this facility includes a feeding robot. So if you do not want to feed them manually, you can feed them with the robot. Let's go ahead and follow these lines around. And here we have the robot, so we have our mineral feed. We have our silage, straw, and hay dump points here. We have our milk trigger located here as well. $100 sheep also are available to be put here at the main farm. So we have our food trough. Then we have our wool spawn point located over here. And that is pretty much kind of the main starting farm area. Let's go ahead and take a look at build mode, because we do have a ton of stuff available in build mode. So under sheds, we do have custom sheds that are also a part of this map. We have custom silos as well that are included with the map. We have a custom weighing station. Then we have the ability to put down our farmhouse. So if we are building or rebuilding a farm, we do have the ability to put down the appropriate farmhouse, complete with interior. We do have custom productions. Not only the productions that are pre-placed on the map, of which there are 10, there are also additional productions that we can put down. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. We have a fry factory that's going to take sunflower oil and potatoes and make fries. That is not pre-placed on the map at this point. We also have a carpentry that's going to be able to make not only furniture and wood chips, but also pallets. We have lime production that's going to earn us money per hour and produce lime from stones. We have our bakery. You see, we're going to be able to make our custom products with the bakery. We have a custom dairy. We have a BGA. We have a sawmill that's going to make those pallets as well as kind of playground equipment. We have our cereal factory that's going to be able to not only process flour but also sugar. We have our spinnery. Then we have our kind of our not our grape, but our juice and oil press facility right here. We do have some custom sell points as well included on the map: a restaurant, our vending machines, a grain mill bulk dump point, and then a little village shop. We also have some custom greenhouses. We have a large greenhouse, and this is how we're going to be able to make our melons and red lettuce. That's going to take pallets, water, fertilizer, and straw. We have a small vegetable garden. That skin is going to have water, pallets, and straw as inputs. It's going to make lettuce, melons, and red lettuce. And we have a large vegetable garden option as well. We have placeable apple trees that are going to take water and produce apples. And then we have custom animal areas as well. And they're not only custom buildings, but the animals on this map also include the ability to take alfalfa and alfalfa hay as inputs. So we have a custom cow barn for 120 cows. Let's get over here. So it's located right there. Then we have one for 150 cows. We have an open cow pasture for 200. Then we have a small 50 cow one. And then a cow with feeding robot that is 150. We have custom horse stalls, these little horse stalls. They're going to hold 2 horses apiece. And horses are also configured to take alfalfa as an input. We have a couple pig areas. That is, again, the modern pig barn. That is the required mod. 450 pigs, and these are going to take fairly standard inputs. Or we have 300 pigs. Sheep. 100 sheep. Again, alfalfa and alfalfa hay. And our chickens are going to be set up to accept red lettuce as well as regular lettuce. And then also sunflowers and corn as far as feed inputs, and 2,000 chickens in this large chicken barn. Fairly standard decorative items. Do have a fence and let's see if we can put this down. Fence that looks very similar to this entry fence right here. Now, we cannot sell the entry fence or the entry gate, but we do have the ability to place our own down. We have some decorative buildings we can also put down. And then as far as landscaping, ground textures go, they're fairly standard. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. We have our animal mud, concrete, grass, dry grass, gravel, gravel dirt, gravel dust, gravel grass, gravel moss, pathway, pathway gravel, riverbed, and wet mud. Fairly standard plants. We do have the option of putting down short grass. So let's see what that looks like. And fairly standard trees. So here I have a short grass. And all our ground textures. Again, these are really ground textures that we have seen in other maps recently. Now, I did kind of skip over the soil map, so let's go ahead and kind of jump back here and take a look at the soil map. This map does have a custom soil map, so let's go ahead and see how it is being applied to these predefined fields. Now, while the exposed area is fairly small, you can see we've got a fairly large swath of sandy loam and loamy sand, as well as loam in the predefined farmland area. The large field to the north is a fair bit of silty clay, which may give you a little bit of an idea as to what the rest of kind of this area over here is going to look like. But as far as the entire western and southern and eastern regions of the map, well, we're kind of left unsure because, again, this is the wilderness out here on the fringes, and as such, we really don't know the soil type until we go and create our own fields. All right, let's go ahead and take to the skies for our flyover part of the map. So here we have our starting farm. Really compact. To the north, we have our largest field, field 53. And then to the south of the starting farm, we have a little town. A couple little cell points here. We have our open cow pasture located right here by this utility tower. And we'll see these utility towers kind of crossing the map. They do have collisions. So if they are going to be areas where you have a tower in a field, you will need to work around those. The AI will not drive through those. So we have our water trigger. We have our food trough right there. Now this does list milk as an output, but I do not see an obvious trigger location for the milk. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Like I said, I don't see an obvious trigger location for the milk. To the south, we have our pig area. That is at farmland ID 62. I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of buying this particular area. So how the triggers come up. We have our slurry point. We have our pig drop off, 450 pigs in here. And here we have our food dump for the pigs. And then our straw is also going to be in there. And then that is pretty much it. And then see, we have all the wilderness kind of on the outside fringes. A fair bit of wilderness indeed compared to kind of the interior part of the map. A whole lot of wilderness area. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. If you're looking for predefined fields, predefined areas, well, they're all small, but you still have that. If you want to grow and expand, move out and up, and go bigger, well, you can also do that at the fringes. So over here at farmland ID 25, we have a horse and apple farm. The same farmhouse we had at our main starting farm. Another vehicle and implement shed. And then we have 3 horse pens, each holding 2 horses each. Let's go ahead and get 1 in there, and then we have our food dump point right there for our food and straw. And then here we have our apple trees. So our water trigger, we have our pallet spawn point for our apples. Then we have our configuration icon here. Pretty straightforward. Water equals apples. Then as I mentioned earlier, we can sell all of the buildings here on these 2 predefined farms. We can also sell the cow pasture as well as the pig building. So with respect to, are the farms customizable? Yes, they are. The starting farm, as well as this horse farm, and then the animal pens, they're completely customizable. And then you have the entirety of kind of probably 3/4 of the map is set up as a wilderness setup. You can just kind of do whatever you want with. The only issue is, of course, we have the train track that is intersecting everything. With respect to production being built in, we are going to be giving the map a full point there as well, because we have 10 production items pre-placed on the map. We have a dairy, we have 2 apple trees, we have the BGA, sawmill, cereal factory, we have a lime production, as well as a bakery, sprintery, and what I'm calling the press, which is going to be able to make juices as well as oils. So below we have our carpentry. Then we have our BGA. I did try to sell the BGA itself, as well as the 2 3-sided bunkers and the single pull-through bunker. I was not successful in selling those. So the BGA is permanently fixed in the map, but of course, you have all of that wilderness area if you want to put your own BGA down. And then here we are back to our starting farm. Let's make our way back over here to this town. That's where we're going to find our vehicle dealer. With respect to sell points and being able to buy, sell, not buy, but being able to sell all of our custom crops, standard crops, animal outputs, and productions, we're going to be giving the map a full point there as well. So here we have our custom dealer. Let's go ahead and go on inside and pick up a Mahindra. Then we'll come outside and see where things spawned in at. Here we have our workshop trigger, or dealer trigger. The sell point. And I believe this is what we're going to find that we are able to produce. We've already talked about our dairy and our juice pressing facility that is at the main starting farm. I went ahead and bought the rest of the productions. We have our 2 apple trees. Then we have our BGA, fairly standard BGA as far as our inputs and outputs. We have our sawmill, so we have wood coming in, or logs coming in. We're able to make planks, wood chips, pallets, and wooden climbing frame towers. Then we have our cereal factory that's going to be able to make flour from our wheat, barley, oat, and sorghum. Then also sugar from a sugar beet cut, and sugar cane. Our lime production is going to take stone and make lime. And also it seems to have a revenue per hour function. Then we have our bakery. It's going to be able to make bread, cakes, as well as then apple fritters. And that's going to be 2 flour, 2 sugar, 2 eggs, and 2 apples to make 5 apple fritters. And then we have our spinnery that's going to take wool and cotton and output either fabric as wool or cotton fabric. So a fairly large area here for vehicles to spawn in at, given the size of the predefined fields. Of course, we do have quite a large area outside of that to do whatever we want with. And then as such, we're going to want to have a fairly large, the ability to get out of the shop. Kind of a little narrow road, though, in order to get around. To the right of the main vehicle dealer, we have our animal dealer, located right here. And we have our dealer trigger with animated cows. Always good to see life added to the map in the way of animated cows. Then we have a bale sell point as well. We'll make our way around. Here we have a restaurant sell point, and then right across the street, we have another processing plant. This is going to be our juicer. All right, so we're going to make our apple juice, grape juice, and our sunflower oil, canola oil, and olive oil. We have our pallet spawn point. Very, very similar to the dairy at the main farm. Then we have our dump point here around the back. Right beside that, we have our spinnery. So we have our dump point, pallet spawn point, and interactive icon. Then here we have our 2 apple trees. Again, this is the horse farm that we already took a look at. Remember earlier in the video I mentioned the control boxes for the fences. There we have one. So if you do wish to get rid of the fences, you do have the ability to do that. I did see earlier we have a custom passenger train that traverses through the map. This map does not have a drivable train. There is no train sell point. So it is simply a deco train. Very, very narrow road here. We have a very narrow bridge as well. This is going to be taking us around to our pig area. So here we have that pig barn. And then we have a road going right out to the wilderness. And presto, we are now out in the wilderness. We can do whatever we want here on the land. Rolling hills, lightly populated tree area. Got a river that we also need to navigate. So depending on what you want to do, right, you might need to do a fair bit of landscaping over here. This road likely is going to make this loop around in a meandering fashion. Of course, this is just a painted texture, so you could completely change this if you wished. Ah, here we go now. Over here on the eastern side, we've come up on a little bit of a plateau, fairly flat, whereas kind of to the south, I was really getting worried, like, man, it's going to be pretty difficult building down there. You're going to have to flatten everything. Over here to the east, this is going to be prime build your own farm, build your own field territory. See if we can loop back over to the predefined area. There we go. So our starting farm is over here on the right at this point. Then we have our bakery. So we have our dump point. Sorry, this isn't a bakery. I misspoke. This is going to be that custom sell point. Our bakery is located right here. So we have our interactive icon. pallet point and a dump point there. Really well done. I like how we have this mixture of real close quarters, small, kind of intimate farming on the predefined part of the map. And then we have kind of the vast open fringes of the map for someone who really wants to kind of expand. So Campaign of France was a map that came out in FS19. It was just a small kind of this interior center part of the map. FS22, it's been enhanced to kind of support that wilderness concept as well. So here we have our BGA. Our fill point for our digestate. Our dump point for our silage and slurry and everything. We have the 3-sided bunkers there, and then we have the pull-through bunker. As I mentioned, the BGA is permanently part of the map. I was not able to sell it even though I owned it. So here we have our sawmill. So we have our dump point for our logs, our wood cell trigger, for our pallet spawn point. We have our interactive icon. And then this is where we're going to pick up our wood chips. And I assume this is what we are going to produce. But it may be kind of palletized. So let's go ahead and just see what that's going to look like. So here we go. I've gone ahead and spawned some of these playground equipment here. It is indeed kind of palletized. See how it's going to spawn in there. Pretty cool. I really like that. I like seeing custom things like that. Not only custom production buildings, but custom production outputs as well. Then we have one more area to point out here. It's going to be under the bridge. That is going to be our stone crusher lime production, as well as our cereal factory. Right, so we have our stone crusher lime production here. We have our interactive icon. We have our dump points for our stones. We have our fill pipe for our lime. And then as far as our cereal production goes, well, we've got 2 lanes. The left lane is for selling product. The right lane is for production. So we have our dump point. We have our interactive icon. Then we have our pallet spawn point right there. So I really like when we see things like this. Direct sales, production flour. Very, very nice indeed. So with respect to our scoring, we talked about giving the map a full point for being able to sell all the base game crops, animal outputs, and production points. We also talked about giving the map a full point with respect to having production built in or areas set aside for such. Wilderness maps, kind of by their default, are going to get a full point there because you have the whole wilderness aspect of the map to be able to set aside things and place things. We also have 10 productions pre-placed on the map. And this is one heck of a dense forest. We're giving the map a full point also with respect to the farms being customizable, because we can indeed sell everything at the main starting farm, as well as the horse and apple farm, and then also over at the pig area and the cow pasture. We're going to be giving the map a full point with respect to buildings and ground textures where appropriate are using the new texturing technique. All of the custom buildings on the map do have the new 3D type windows kind of applied to them, as well as the kind of new texturing and depth on the kind of the walls and ceilings. And then lastly, player and interactive areas being clearly marked. I really wanted to give this map a full point there as well. I had planned to give this map a full 5 out of 5. But alas, we did find over at the cow pasture. Cow pasture is listed as having a milk output. Right? We go here to our animals. We go to our modern cow pasture. Right? We have water input, milk output, and our food requirements. But we did not see where the milk trigger is. There was no visual indicator where that milk trigger is located. So we're going to have to knock off a quarter of a point there. So still a very respectable 4.75 out of 5. Maybe the cow pasture is not supposed to have milk and it's just a coding error. Maybe it is supposed to have milk. I would like to know kind of where that trigger is located. If you do happen to know, please go ahead and put that down in the comments below. Let me know what you all think also of this map down in the comments below. Campaign of France, did you play this map in FS19? What do you think of this new wilderness aspect on the outside fringes of basically the previous map that we had in FS19, now brought forward to FS22? And until next time, happy farming.